And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Cutthroat Caverns is one of the most vicious games I've ever played. If you've not played the game before, we'll go watch my review, but in Cutthroat Caverns, you're a band of adventurers going through a dungeon, but only the person who kills each monster gets the experience for that monster, or the victory points, and whoever has the most of those points at the end of the game is the winner. So you're not trying to help each other out too much, but if you don't help each other out, you'll die pretty early on, and then once everyone dies, then the monsters win. Well, they added expansion after expansion after expansion, and so there's been a lot. I managed to squish it all into 2 boxes with a couple books overhand, but they were nice enough to come out with expansion 4, although it feels like they've done 5 expansions, but whatever. Expansion 4 here, fresh meat, expansion 4, and a battle box. So this is a large box that will hold everything, and I'll show you that a little bit later, but it also includes some new stuff for the game. Let's take a look, and we'll be back. So let's take a look at the things that come in this set. There's a whole pile of tokens that will be used for different features of the game. But more importantly than that, let's take a look at probably the coolest feature that the game adds, and that is new characters. Now, there's new characters, and there's a whole lot of them, and they're here not just for a fancy picture, but you notice it says Elspeth the Illusionist, the Studied, and the Deceptive. So that means if I decide to pick her, I will go through a reputation deck, and I will look through that deck until I find the Studied and the Deceptive. For example, the Deceptive says I can play any card as an attack 30 card, and the Studied says once per encounter I can replace my set attack card with a virtual copy of another attack card already placed onto the damage stack this round. So those are basically 2 special abilities. She also has hit points of 75. If I don't want to use those special abilities, I can always use the other side of her, which has hit points all the way up to 100. And so each of the characters that's included in this game, whether they're from the original set or they're one of the new characters, and some of the new characters like Growl here are pretty cool looking, they have 2 or 3 special abilities and then varying amounts of hit points. This really differentiates the characters from each other. Now, since the characters match cards that are in the deck, and you take a character who doesn't match cards in the deck, for example, let's say I took Nick Knack here, and I don't have his picture's not on any of the cards in the deck, then I just simply pick a character's portrait who's not in the game and put her by me, and then whenever the cards for her would be drawn, those would be my protected attacks. Now, you may not like any of these characters, so what you can do is do a drafting feature where you basically start with 100 hit points and then decide which of these special abilities you want. Each special ability, and it's a little hard to see here, has a number and a seal down here. That's 15 hit points I would have to give up to take that ability. And you can draft by drawing cards and passing them around, or drafting them from the middle of the table. Now, what we want to look at briefly, what do these cards do mostly? Well, there's some cool ones, like look at this one, the Heroic. When you score your first kill, you get an extra +3 prestige, or you can take an extra +1 prestige on every kill that you have for the rest of the game. Many of the cards simply let you play one card as another type. I can play Poke with a Stick as if they were Venom Strike, or I can play Poke like a Stick as if they were Not So Fast. And that's okay and good, I suppose. The problem with these, you can play one type of card as another type of card, is that I don't always remember what each type of card does. I wish it would say so here in the special abilities. That would have been a nice thing for them to do. Here, this guy can risk life points or prestige and flip a coin each encounter. If you have the Unyielding, you can take lethal damage once and survive. The Quick Hand, it lets you attack multiple targets. If you take the Aaron Master, you can start with a Relic card. And so there's all different sorts of these, and there's quite a few of them, really. A lot of these cards, so this will give you a lot of differentiation at the beginning of the game. The game also comes with some new event cards. It comes with some new relic cards. And it comes with some new cards for the basic deck. Those are the ones I want to kind of emphasize, some of these cards. We here to Strike of Destiny. This works for every character. The difference is it can't go up in power. If I can't have it, it's a very annoying card because it ends the round when you play it. On the other hand, Impressive Move is rocking. It's 75 attack, and if it does the highest damage, you get a +1 prestige. Taking one for the team is a fun potion to play or a relic to play, but when you play this card, when a creature attacks another player, the attack is ricochet to you and you get +2 prestige. This one, Snicker Snacked, lets you draw cards from the deck till you get 60, and Venom Strike is a small attack, however, it will do 10 more damage at the end of the round for each player who attacks after you, and then if that damage is lethal, you score the kill. So that's some pretty neat stuff. It adds some more to the original deck. After that, we want to talk about the new monsters that are in the deck, and there are just tons of new monsters. The Arena of Souls, the Vampiric Spirit, the Treasure Spore, the Thorn Clinger. Let's talk about a few of them specifically that I thought were interesting. The Curse Naid, what she does, each player takes a Hold Your Attack card, or on the other side, it's a Strike card, and you play those, and people who hold their attack get to heal in her pool. So that's great. Everyone's going to want to do that, except it will add blood tokens to her, making her more powerful when she attacks. The Spitting Drake also uses these hold or attack cards. Basically, those who hold are immune to his attack. So you have to convince other people to attack. Minecart Madness. Players will play attack cards that basically you're going down the track as fast as you can, and the first person who gets there is going to get the prestige. The problem is if you go too fast, you might fly off. Rock Elemental is fun because, well, he has a shockwave, but that's just neat. The Djinn of Wishes. This is one I really enjoy because he's so evil. Everybody is going to decide whether they're going to make a wish or not. And if that number is less, let's say you're playing a 5-player game, all right? In a 5-player game, 3 people are allowed to make a wish. So each person will make a wish. If there's more than 3 people who make a wish, then all those people are going to take damage, and they're going. Well, you're going to have to fight to him then, and everyone who does that will lose prestige. However, if few enough people do it, then all those people will get a relic card. So that's pretty awesome because, hey, some people in your party can get relic cards. Of course, who's going to get them? There'll be arguments over that, and people will yell back and forth, and eventually you'll either all be greedy and then have to fight a very powerful creature. I don't know. I just thought that was fun. Eastflow Dragon's a pretty cool creature that's really powerful, and you can reveal cards from your hands to match and hit it. And then we got Humility and Shame. It comes with an extra little guy. Shame and Humility hits the person who does the most damage, and Shame hits the person who does the least damage. And then probably, I don't know, this is up there in the most evil monster cards that I've ever played, is the Endless Horde of the Dead, because this brings undead tokens in front of you for the encounter, and for the next encounter, and for the next encounter. For the rest of the game, these undead folks show up. And there's a whole lot more creatures than that in the game. Now, before I finish this up, I want to show you kind of what the box does. Notice all these bags that I have gotten rid of here, because this is everything. Everything for Cutthroat Caverns at this point in time is here in the box. You can see here, I have all the cards from the main deck, and there's room for some counters below that. Here's all the rest of the card, some room there. Over here is every single encounter. There's so many. I mean, really, Cutthroat Caverns at the point now where adding more expansions doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, I guess you can do it. I mean, Arkham Horror does. But there's just so much in this game. And then here I have all my events, and over here all the characters. And then in this deep well, all the rule books and extra encounter books, and then tons of counters. I'm going to try to figure out a better way to sort those out down there. But for now, look at that. fits everything. There's not much room for more stuff. There's a little bit of room, but not much more. We'll see. One of the interesting things that the Fresh Meat expansion does is that it introduces some like custom scenarios where they give you the monsters, the 9 monsters to put in order, and then that way when you turn them over, you learn some of the new mechanics that are introduced in this. There is a lot of things going on in Cutthroat Caverns. As I said in my overview, I don't really see how they can add anything else. The variety is huge. I like having it all in that one large box. That's very convenient, easy to move around. It's a big box, but it's really chock full. And now every time you play Cutthroat Caverns, it's different. Now, someone asked me when we were playing, I said, how is this really that different than Munchkin? Because really, you're just playing bad cards and people helping yourself. And I agree. I don't know. I almost think of this like as a thinking man's Munchkin, because you sit there and go, if you're going to play that and they're going to play that, then I'll play the 20. And there's kind of some guesswork as you play the cards. But you know, there's still that take that and laughing feeling. It just really brings that just joy to the game. Not because of the humor on the cards themselves. In fact, the monsters in Cutthroat Caverns are nasty looking. They're evil monsters. But it's the whole, oh, I'm sorry, did I trip you? The game itself brings out the humor. And for me, that's the biggest difference between this and games like Munchkin, because those games try to have the humor on the cards and in the game. The Cutthroat Caverns, it just comes out. You need to buy the base game to run this, but if this was the first expansion you bought, you're doing pretty well. It adds a lot of new stuff. I really like the customizable characters, although like I said, this card works as this card is kind of a pain. I'm almost going to have to print out some kind of guide that shows what all the cards do so people can remember. But I do like drafting your own characters, building your own characters, but the preset characters work well. Just a lot more stuff. Some game-changing stuff with the new characters, but mostly a box full of a lot of new stuff. Definitely, if you're a Cutthroat Caverns fanatic, this is one that you want to get. If you just own the base game, this is certainly the first expansion you should get, just if only to keep everything in place. Lots of fun. Fresh Meat, come join me as I stab you and take your treasure.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.